Everybody, Michelle here with the Redesign Habit, and this is my newest purchase from Goodwill. I found it yesterday for $20. It's in great shape as far as it's a heavy solid chair. It's a nice big sized armchair. The cushion's in good shape. There are no tears. The legs are solid wood. However, I don't usually do fabric pieces, but I'm going to try it on this one. And I have to decide yet what I'm going to do. I think I may be going to try to fabric paint it. I haven't done that before, but I've been doing some research and I think that's what I'm going to try to do with it. Because like I said, the fabric's in great shape. It's just disgusting. So step one will be cleaning it good, and we'll take you along for the ride through the process, and we'll just have to wait and see if fabric paint works. If it doesn't, then I will try to cover it. So we will keep you updated as the project moves forward. See you there. Hey everybody, Michelle again. So I have another quick update on this chair project that I'm working on. I'm going to show you the cushion, which now has 2 coats versus parts of the chair, which only have 1, and you will see the stark contrast. And just like walls, I'm finding coat number 2 goes on much easier, of course, than coat number 1, because there's a barrier of coat number 1 helping coat number 2 work. I do have questions though about this. So let me turn you around here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's the cushion. And it's kind of interesting. It has 1 coat on it except for this bottom left, which is 2 coats because I was testing it yesterday. So it looks really streaky, but it is drying, so I'm gonna let it finish drying and see what it looks like, you know, after that. And then I started working on the chair, and you can see here, you know, it just looks very uneven when you put the first coat on. And all the tutorials said, you know, make sure you're doing light coats. Well, that's very difficult to do because on this chair, because the paint gets trapped in the pattern of the fabric, the texture of the fabric, and you're practically beating it to death to get it to spread. So light coats is a little tricky. I am gonna burnish it, which means sanding it with super fine. I've got 400 grit sandpaper in between coats to keep it from feeling all rough and weird. I mean, you're painting fabric, so in the end, it's not gonna feel like the fabric itself because you're putting paint on top of it. I did use fabric medium. Let me turn over here. Here it is. So this is the one I used, and it says for a ratio 2 parts paint to 1 part fabric medium. Now this chair is taking a lot of paint because it's big, and so it may take a whole gallon. I hope a whole gallon is enough. We will see, but I'll keep you posted. But you know, I have to see how it turns out before I make any final decisions. But I will tell you that so far it's a lot harder than the videos, of course, make it look like it is. So I'm being honest with you here. I've been working away at this and it's taking forever. It's really hot here. You know, the paint goes on so you have to fight with it to get it across the texture, and definitely takes 2 coats, and in some spots may take 3. I will also tell you, if you don't clean it good, like if you miss a spot when you're doing all your cleaning at the beginning, you are going to have dirty dirt rise to the surface, just like it does on a wall. If you don't clean the wall first and you put the paint up, then you have this weird dirt coming through. So that is something you're going to want to really watch out for if you ever decide to take something like this on. I mean, I'm not too worried because in the end, if I really hate it, I'll just recover it with fabric, which I was thinking about doing anyway. So, hey everybody, Michelle here with another chair update for you guys. So you can see by looking at it that it's almost done. However, there's a caveat to that, which is the chair looks great, especially if you compare it to what it looked like before. It's really updated it. I haven't done the legs yet on it. However, it is hard. And, I did the sanding on it, which kind of makes it feel like if you sand wood, right? It doesn't feel rough, but it's stiff, I guess is a better word. It just doesn't feel very nice against your skin. I did sand with very fine grit sandpaper, 400 grit or higher to get the burrs, the roughness off. And so it doesn't feel nearly as rough. But like I said, it took a soft fabric chair and kind of turned it into the way a vinyl chair would feel. So we're going to try and work around that. I am not giving up yet. I will persevere. Hey, everybody. So let's do an update on this chair project that I've been working on. And I got to tell you, it's been quite a process. Here is the cushion. It isn't going to get any better, any softer, any nicer with anything I can do to it. I mean, I kind of tried all the little tips and tricks that I talked to you guys about along the way. And while it does get smooth, it does not get soft because it's paint. So, basically it's creating a shell. So what I would say from my experience is, first of all, it took a lot of paint on this chair and it took a lot of time for not what I would call great results. So if I were going to do it again, I would not pass up that chair because it was a great chair. It's a great chair, great bones. I would get a slip cover for it, which is what I ended up doing. I know I said I was going to try and cover the arms and the back, but then I started thinking about it, pricing slip covers versus just fabric, and I could get the whole slip cover for the entire chair for less than the fabric for the arms, the back, and the seat. So, and I'm not a seamstress. I do not sew. Everything I recover has to be either glued or stapled. And so that is not a good option, obviously, for a giant cushion in a chair. So I decided to go the slipcover route, and I'll show you that finished chair later, and you can judge whether you think it's worth it. I still think the chair was a great deal at $20 for a huge armchair and another $25 for a slipcover. So a great big timeless styled, just, traditional, transitional style armchair for $50 or under. I mean, you wouldn't even sniff one brand new for that. So I'm still a big believer that it was the right decision to buy the chair. I'm glad I tried the paint process on the fabric. I'm not a fan, but I do think it has its applications. For instance, if you had a bench in your entryway that had a cushioned top, painting might be a great option for that fabric. People are sitting on it to take on their shoe, take off and on their shoes. You're not really curling up in it with a book where it wraps around you and you want it to feel all soft and squishy and wonderful. It's just kind of utilitarian, and you can get the paint to look good. So that's great. Another application I think where it would be great is maybe outdoor cushions. If you have like a table and chair set on your patio and the cushions are worse for wear, but you don't want to spend the money on new ones, I think paint could be really good in that application because it does kind of form a shell on it. So for outdoor use, that would be optimum. And again, if just your bum is on it, you're not exactly looking for cozy creature comfort. Another application maybe would be a footstool, or perhaps your dining chairs only have like a cushioned seat. So things like that, I think the paint process could be very useful and save you some money, especially if you're like me and you hoard extra paint. So I don't want to discount the process completely, but as far as a big piece of furniture, like a sofa or a giant armchair, I would advise against it, in my opinion. If you've had other experience with it and you've been successful, please let us know down below in the comments. I would love to know what you did that made it work better than what I did trying to follow tips that I saw online. So all in all, I'm glad I did it. I am going to slip cover the chair and we'll see how it looks once it's all done. It's just elasticized slip cover. I am not going to film myself covering that because everybody has done it before in some shape or form. It's basically like a giant pillowcase that you're shaping around your chair. So not great must-see TV, I don't think. But I did want to give you an update and my final opinion, and I will come back after I have her covered and we'll see how she looks. See you then. Hey everybody, so here I am in the finished chair. The slipcover wasn't terrible, you know, they're never quite the right shape and you kind of have to play with it, tuck it, pull it, tuck it, pull it. But as far as slipcovers go, I feel like this was a good one. It's nice and soft, it's velvety feeling, so we solved the issue of the rough plasticky paint feel. So that's the main thing to me. But it was a fun project and I'm really glad I tried it because I've never done it before, especially not anything on this scale. So it was really interesting to do. That's it really for this one. I will use the chair. I'm planning on using the chair. It's a big comfy chair. So I'm going to hang on to it. $20. Can't beat that deal. Anyway, that's it for this one. So please don't forget, if you haven't before, visit the redesignhabit.com. You can sign up there for our weekly newsletter. It's free to you and it comes with all kinds of fun little pictures and just kind of what was happening during the week. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram if you haven't done that already. And please, if you have not done so, please give this video a thumbs up down below and hit that subscribe button. And we will see all you guys in the next video.